Postseason begins 3 games on day 1 of Wild Card Weekend and starts in Tennessee with the Tennessee Titans facing off with Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. The Titans' running game was huge, but here one of their backs makes a catch as Ryan Tannehill finds Darrington Evans cutting up the middle of the field. He makes the diving play and the Titans go up 10. Derrick Henry with a beast mode type run looking like Marshawn Lynch there with 11 minutes left in the second quarter, getting past Clay Matthews. The Titan drive stalled out, but they managed to extend their lead to 14 on this field goal from Greg Joseph. Ridiculously crazy play. Baker Mayfield tries to hurdle a defensive back on a long run trying to gain instead of going out of bounds. He gets hit, goes flying, ball comes out, and you'll watch clearly a fumble, and the ball is actually caught right there by Landry. A ridiculous play and a tough break for Cleveland, who were driving down the field. Just watch the mastery here from Derrick Henry to seal the game. You just cannot stop that. Derrick Henry breaks 3 tackles. Looked like the Browns were going to swallow him up. Instead, it's a 50-yard touchdown, and the Browns turnover costly. The Titans take a 3-score advantage. Just unbelievable that Derrick Henry was able to shred all that. Watch that one tackle. That's Myles Garrett. And then the second one coming there to try to drag him down. And Derrick Henry's just too strong. Not even close in this one. The Tennessee Titans roll to the divisional round at home, 37-9. Baker Mayfield doesn't even want the cameras near him at the end of this game. A tough loss for Cleveland here in their second straight season in the postseason. They won a game last season. This year, though, it ends in the wild card. Baker Mayfield, 4 picks, plus they fumbled 5 turnovers despite 303 yards. Ryan Tannehill only threw for 172, but it was the run game that did everything for the Titans. Just look, I mean, this is insane. 24 carries, 188 yards, and a touchdown for Derrick Henry. And just to preview, that's not even the biggest rushing day that we had on this day. Just stay tuned. Darrington Evans had 6 carries for 9 yards. He had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, too. Austin Hooper led the way receiving-wise. OBJ at 90 yards. Darrington Evans, 49 yards and a touchdown catch. A.J. Brown caught the other. Craziest game of the day. It's an afternoon on Fox between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Seattle, Russell Wilson injured last week. They did not rule him out of the game, but they said Geno Smith would be starting, and you see him leading him out of the tunnel, number 7. Smith, the starter for the playoff game. Russell Wilson potentially available to come in. The MVP caliber quarterback out against the defending NFC champs, at least at the beginning. With Russell Wilson not in there, the Seahawks needed their defense to step up, and unfortunately they couldn't. Just 2 plays in, CeeDee Lamb makes an incredible catch over the secondary man, gets free and into the end zone for a touchdown. Over Quinton Dunbar, watch this play by CeeDee Lamb, the rookie from Oklahoma, looking so poised as Dallas takes an early lead. And out on the field came Geno Smith. Smith did not play very well when he came in last week against Arizona when Wilson got hurt and they eventually benched all the starters after clinching the 2 seed. And the Seahawks needed him to step up. Smith here trying to make a play, but he's picked off on the sideline. And the Cowboys gained possession. They had just had a 73-yard rushing touchdown from Ezekiel Elliott, and we're already up 2 scores. Zeke scored again, this time from 52 yards, 21-0. Geno Smith, though, gets Seattle on the board with his legs. And the Seahawks cut the deficit to 14 with the extra. Russell Wilson was spotted warming up in the sidelines, and here Geno Smith fumbles, the ball comes free, the Cowboys take over in the red zone, and that would end up being it for Geno Smith, and Russell Wilson, battered and injured as he was with his ankle injury from last week, would be entering the game. Meanwhile, the Cowboys strike again. Dak Prescott to Jason Witten, who gets free of Jamal Adams. The veteran Witten puts the Cowboys up 35-7 in the second quarter. But after the kickoff return, look who's on his way out onto the field. Russell Wilson, even looking a little ginger, just jogging there with the ankle injury. But this is why they didn't rule him out, but a tough hill to climb, down 28 in the second. But here came Russ, running it in and celebrating. Wilson excited to score on his first possession back in after the injury. And Seattle would go for two. After converting the two-point conversion, Dak Prescott turns it over, and the ensuing drive before halftime, Wilson connects with one of his favorite targets, DK Metcalf, and all of a sudden Seattle is right back in this game. 35-22, but Chris Carson here on the first drive of the second half gets in 22 unanswered points from Seattle, and they cut the deficit to 6, and this is suddenly a game. Russell Wilson chucks one deep. Look at the catch by Tyler Lockett on the defensive back over him, straddled it around him, and that ties the game at 35. Watch this catch by Lockett. Back of the end zone, pinned on Robinson, tied around his arm, and he brings it in and gets both feet down. Just incredible. Cowboys still scoreless in the half. Look at Russell Wilson here, finding Rashad Penny, who gets free of the defense, gets in. Another touchdown for Seattle. It's 36 unanswered points, and suddenly they are up by 8. Unbelievable. Look at this punt. That was from his own end zone. It's the longest punt in NFL history from Michael Dixon. 99 yards, and it pins Dallas back at their own 20. Prescott last chance on 4th down. Patrick Parker makes the catch, but he's short of the sticks with 1:31 to go. Even with the 3 timeouts, looks pretty much over. And time runs out. The second largest comeback in NFL postseason history complete. The Seattle Seahawks, down 35-7 in the second quarter, take down the defending NFC champion Dallas Cowboys 43-35, 36 unanswered points. Russell Wilson on a bum ankle comes in down 28 and leads them back in the second half. Simply unbelievable. Dak Prescott had a good day, 253 yards, but had 2 picks. Russell Wilson, 176 yards and 3 touchdowns after replacing Geno Smith. Ezekiel Elliott casually had a ridiculous day, 24 carries, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was at 190 yards at halftime, then stalled out like the rest of the Cowboys offense. Russell Wilson, ankle wasn't bothering him too much. I mean, he ran for 68 yards. And then receiving-wise, the leading receiver for either team was Rashad Penny with 95 yards and a touchdown. Patrick Pargo and Amari Cooper had 6 catches apiece for Dallas. But the Seahawks move on. The Cowboys lose in a heartbreaking fashion. Seattle now set up, since they're the 2 seed, to host a game in the divisional playoff round as we moved into the nightcap, which was another NFC battle. So we moved to the nightcap, a rainy night on NBC, with the Giants, who moved up to the 3 seed with some craziness on week 10, to host the Minnesota Vikings, who dropped that wild one in the snow against the Packers, forcing them into a road playoff game as the Packers clinch the NFC North. Giants were without Dion Lewis. Saquon Barkley got hurt in this game. Wayne Gallman Jr. on the screen pass gets into the end zone, and the Giants strike first on their opening drive. Third quarter, Kirk Cousins here, a terrible throw. It goes out of bounds. He is 8 for 20 for 80 yards. Cousins struggled last week as well. And Nate Stanley, who played well when Cousins was hurt in Week 9 against the Lions, spotted warming up on the sidelines. Meanwhile, confirmation came. Saquon Barkley hurt on the second drive of the game. Torn biceps, so now he and Dion Lewis, who were the Giants' 2 primary backs throughout the regular season, both gone for the remainder of their postseason run. And that is a tough break for the Giants. Saquon Barkley, the leader of this team, gone with a torn bicep. But we mentioned they had another running back. That's Devontae Freeman, the veteran, diving in past the secondary man into the end zone, and the Giants go up 17-3 late in the third quarter. Out over the field came Dalvin Cook, but he was accompanied not by Kirk Cousins, but by Nate Stanley, who replaced Kirk Cousins at quarterback with the Vikings down 14. Last chance potentially for Minnesota. 2:30 to go, and CJ Ham gets swallowed up as Blake Martinez gets through along with DJ Mayo, and the Giants take over up 14 with 2:27 to go. This game wasn't over yet though. 15 seconds, Vikings get it back, drive down the field. Nate Stanley runs it into the end zone for a touchdown to cut it to a one-score game. And guess what? The Vikings would win the onside kick. They would get it and have the ball with under 10 seconds to go. Last chance, Stanley couldn't get it far enough, and the Giants hang on and take down the Vikings at home 24-17. The Giants the 3 seed, so they are guaranteed now a matchup with Seattle, while the winner of the Green Bay-Tampa game on Sunday would face the Saints in the divisional round in the NFC. Daniel Jones did his job. 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 of 27 despite the poor weather. Nate Stanley came in and gave them an added spark after Kirk Cousins really struggled. Dalvin Cook was held to 78 rushing yards. Wayne Gallman, the leading rusher for the Giants, with 62. Saquon Barkley only got 5 carries before his receiving-wise, the Vikings were without the services of Tajay Sharp, who was a 100-yard receiver against Green Bay last week. Justin Jefferson with 114 and a touchdown leading the way, while Evan Engram had 6 catches for 53 yards and a receiving touchdown for Wayne Gallman Jr. and Darius Slayton for New York. But that's how day 1 of Wild Card Weekend went. Coming up in day 2, we'd start with the Steelers hosting the New York Jets, a battle between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers as the Bucs face the Packers at Lambeau, and a nightcap between Mahomes and the Chiefs and Deshaun Watson and the Texans.